What is up, guys? Here we are again, as you guys have asked, and we will deliver one more of these videos, the tutorial on how I like to do my body part movements, and this time it's going to be the Boulder Shoulders. This time I'm going to show you 3 or maybe a little more of my favorite movements to build those cannonball delts. Let's go. First of all, what you guys should know about the shoulders is that if you want to work on your width, so how wide your physique looks, the best thing to do is truly cap off those shoulders. Get very wide shoulders, and you have 3 different shoulder heads: the front, the side, and the rear. The biggest part of the delt, if you want to be wide, should be the side delts. So every time you train the delts, you should start out with the side. And how do you train the side the best possible way? Of course, with a side lateral raise. You can do it with a dumbbell, you can do it with a cable. You have these machines, but I like to do it in this particular way. So here we are at a cable stack. As you can see, I'm already doing it a little differently compared to how you used to see it from different bodybuilders perhaps. This would normally be at the very bottom like this. And if I would then do the movement, for example, to demonstrate it to you guys, I will be doing this. This is very difficult, but guess what? When I'm here, it's very easy. Where is the tension? It's gone. It's all on the wrist here. That is not what we want. If you want to build muscle, you want to have tension, especially in the stretch. So, one good way to get the tension there is at the end of the motion of this side raise, you should have this cable 90 degrees opposed to your side delt. So if I do it right now, you can see this cable is pulling this way, and I can't really keep it like this because you can see the striations there. The tension is on the side delts. So what I'm going to do now is demonstrate to you how I like to do this. So go all the way up, about 90 degrees, perpendicular to the ground, parallel to the ground, and then like this. But as you go here, you can feel the tension here, the maximum stretch. As we all know, especially nowadays, the stretch causes the most stimulus for muscle growth. So one more thing you guys might be wondering, why is he using this thing? This is an ankle cuff, but just because it's called an ankle cuff doesn't mean you have to use it on your ankles only for glute kickbacks. You can use it for this kind of motion as well. Why? Because then the wrist is not a limiting factor anymore. It's not going to be strained, so you take one more joint out of the equation that's going to be under stress. So all the stress will be on top of your wrist, so basically above the wrist joint. And this way you won't have any pain in the forearm or the wrist at all, and will make it much more naturally feeling. So trust me guys, if your gym doesn't have this, just buy it yourself on Amazon and attach it to this, and it will make a world of difference. Next up, we're gonna move to a different exercise, but still for the side delts. Why? Because again, we can never be wide enough. So we're gonna use a dumbbell this time, but we're not just gonna stand like this, because what did I just tell you? Once you have the dumbbell in your hand here, where is the tension? It's just in your forearms trying to hold the dumbbell, but not in the side delts anymore. So I'm gonna use a trick, an old school Arnold Schwarzenegger trick. And let me show you what I mean. So I just grab the dumbbell, and trust me guys, if you can do 15 kilos standing up, cut it in half. So cut it to 7.5, for example, but cut the weight in half, trust me. So what you wanna do then is take a bench, put it around, a 45-degree incline, something like that, because you're gonna be doing this unilaterally per side, starting with the weakest or smallest side. For me, usually the left side. You wanna put your body on this sideways, put your arm right under here so it's nice and free, put the back leg to the back, and this leg like this, so it gives you the range of motion necessary to feel the tension at the bottom. Because look at this, we're gonna go up, here you have a lot of tension, and guess what? I'm going all the way down, all the way down. Here there's still tension. As you can see, my side delt, it still has to do effort to keep the dumbbell here. So this is an incredible movement, the call for the incline side dumbbell lateral raise. A long name for an old school movement, and it's already difficult, as you can see, but it's quite amazing to do. I've Been doing this for many years, so I alternate between this version and the cable version, because who doesn't love to work out with old school free weight dumbbells when it actually works? So again, on the stretch part, you want to feel that tension. So let me show you it from the other side. You would then alternate like this, and alternate the legs as well, as you can see. Because if you do this, some people do this, but look, the dumbbell's touching the leg. So putting the leg here allows you a bit more range to go all the way here and then go up again. And what you want to do here, as with the side lateral raise and the cable, is go relatively high volume, which means I like to do at least 4 sets and around 15 reps minimum. Because guess what? If you want to go for lower reps, that means you can go with a heavier weight. Let me grab a heavier weight, like a 30 kilo. Now what happens when I'm trying to do a side lateral raise with this? Look what's going to happen here first. The trap is trying to push it up. You can see the trap is working, so yes, I can do this, but it's a lot of trap involvement as well. What don't you want to do as a bodybuilder? Involve muscles that you don't want to train at that moment. So for the side delts, higher volume, lower weight, and simply feel the burn in that muscle. Now that we managed the side delts with these 2 movements, you can create enormous side delts, but what about the rear delts? Those are actually very important as well, because if you want to do a side chest, what you don't want to do or have is a small rear delt to put an imbalance on your physique. You want cannonball, pumpkin, almond striated delts. And the only way to achieve that is with big rear delts as well. So let's do that movement, which I like quite a lot. So we have right here a pec deck machine. You can use it like this for the chest, but like this for the rear delts. So what you want to do, and look closely guys, because I have a trick to maximize the gain on this one. So just sit down normally, grab the handles. I would not recommend this because this puts a lot of strain on the wrist. You want actually to put it like this. But if you look closely, you can hold it all the way against this bar right here, or you can move your hands inwards. Why would I do that? Because it increases the stretch. Let me first demonstrate it to you the regular way, like a lot of people like to do it. So I go all the way back, and like this, oops, there goes the tension. What do we want? The tension in the stretch. So what you want to do is put your hands all the way on the inside as much as possible. And this creates, all of a sudden, more range of motion. Like right here, there's still stretch and tension on the muscle. And this way, you can have a larger range of motion on the exact same machine. Now, every machine is going to be a little bit different, but you can maximize it always by having a different grip with your hands on the handles provided. So put them as close to each other as you can to maximize the range of motion and stimulus for muscle growth. So one thing about the rear delts is also it's a small muscle group. It can easily be overtaken once again by those traps. So what you want to do is a lightweight, high volume. So you might want to do, again, 3 to 4 sets of 15 to even 20 reps. And in my opinion, every time you train the back, you might as well put this one in at the last motion to finish them off, because every back movement pretty much involves the rear delts a little bit. You might want to finish them off with a separated isolation movement like this at the very end. We also have a dumbbell variation for the rear delts. So it's with 2 dumbbells, and it's going to be a reverse fly once again. I like to do it like this because, you know, it's dumbbells, old school, free weight, but it feels great. So what you want to do is sit on a bench. I want to make sure you put your feet in front of you so you have enough space in between your leg and the bench for the dumbbells to go. Then bend forward basically, and you just want to do like this, a reverse fly. So when you go up, feel the tension here. When you go down, yes, it's true, there's not as much tension here, but because you move like this, because the moment the dumbbells almost hit, you go back up, and that's causing a lot of tension in the muscle on its own. Because you keep moving, the tension is never lost. And trust me guys, if you do this 15 to 20 reps, your rear delts will be explodingly big. So those are already 4 movements. But where is the front delts? I can already hear all the people screaming at me, but the most important part of your delts, isn't it the front delt? Well, partially correct, because when you do most muscular, for example, the front delt is a big part of that pose, and it gives you a lot of volume in the delt itself. But guess what? When I train the chest, or when anybody trains the chest, the front delt, as you've trained, as you can automatically see, is involved quite a lot, automatically, with the motion, almost no matter what you do, especially an incline motion like this. I mean, the rear delt, the front delt is used so much with it, it's involved, that honestly, I haven't trained the front delts in 5, 6 years, at least not seriously at all. It's not programmed into my split at all since I've been a pro. So I used to do it back in the day because everybody said you gotta do a military press or an Arnold press or whatever to grow big delts, but I've never done that. And it actually prevented a lot of shoulder pain for me personally, because I do train the back delts, and the side and the front delts are already developed enough by the chest movements, but nevertheless, we do have one movement that I love to do for the front delt, so let's go. When you do have a separate shoulder day, I would recommend starting with the side or rear delts. So you have 2 muscle groups trained, the side and the rear, and then you end with the front delts. And if you want to do a military press, don't have any muscle pain or niggles or pains at all, sure, you can do it, but before you do, I would recommend a pre-exhaustion technique, or just only the movement I'm about to do, which are the old school front raises. A front raise is exactly what it's called, alternating between the dumbbells like this. So you get a very good contraction, a semi-stretch, but not perfect, but it's a great way to finish off the front delts after a chest movement, like a workout, or to pre-exhaust them before moving on to a heavy military press. Because for bodybuilders, it's not all about the weight, it's about tiring out the muscle as much as possible, stimulating it for muscle growth, and actually not using as much weight as we can, because that puts a stress on the joints, the tendons, the ligaments, and also on the muscle, but you just want the muscle to be stressed and nothing else, to be honest. So what you want to do, grab pretty light dumbbells, also 15 reps like this, simply alternate between the arms, and don't go all the way up like this, because here, again, no tension left. So just go a little bit to your eyes, a little bit above your eyes, and then go back. This is a very easy one to do, and it gives you a great pump as well. So guys, those were my top exercises and how to do them for the shoulders. To recap, start with the side delts. Always make sure you feel the stretch, you feel a lot of tension there, higher volume. Include the side delts after the chest workout, rear delts after the back workouts, and if you train shoulders separately, try to pre-exhaust the front delts to prevent a lot of misery and pain and still make them grow to be cannonball delts. So guys, a lot more videos like this are coming, but let me know which one you want to see down in the comments. As in always, don't forget to stay golden.